Assalamu alaikum. That's not a good response. As if your heart was actually speaking with your soul. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Can we do the first slide, please? We are going to do a little bit of a story time, my friend. I am not here to sell anything. I'm not here to pitch anything. I do want to say we need to support and lock in everything that has been shared. I am a big believer that when people who are aligned with us succeed, then we succeed. And if we walk through the life with your success is my success, then we will all be more successful. And so let us support the things that have been presented. I wish even 10 years ago they were there. With that said, 2030, a possible future, is not a talk. It is invitation to build and to dream. Before we can get to 2030, we have to ask ourselves, what is 2025? Not as a moment, but as a state of being, if you will. If we were to ask what is 2025, I would say it is an era of chronic information exposure that at times seems to download the entire state of 7 billion people in the world into a single human heart that cannot hold it, leading to sensory overload. And a fun fact, what is sensory overload? Sensory overload is a neuroscience term that means the human brain is overloaded. Not so fun fact, overloading that is not followed by rest or removal from stimulation leads to a new emotion arising, an emotion we call fear and despair. Despair is when fear is not a singular moment, it is a constant reality, and a reality that we believe is unable to change. Or to paraphrase young folk, we are scared. And it is not just tongue and phrase. A recent study showed that from young people to even elders, over 60% of most societies, 6 out of every 10 people, believe the future will not be better, it will be worse. So we are scared for the future, and we are scared of the future. But what if we inverted only 2 letters? What if we shifted that A and that C? What if our scared futures became sacred futures? And if we ask ourselves, what is a sacred future? It is the design challenge of our times and of all times, because sacred futures build, invent, and invest in the beauty of creation that sustains the creation while honoring the architect of it all, Allah. It sees life as an act of prayer, and that is a prayer of possibility. From the words of Dr. Umar Farooq Abdullah, we as Muslims are a tradition that believes in the miraculous. The religion anchored in kum fayakum. So in that moment, if we truly believe it, I want to ask us concretely, it is the year 2030. A quantum leap of progress has occurred in a 5-year continuum quantum of time. What could we change if we, as founders with values, who as a community statistically equal 20 to 25% of all humanity, if only 1% of that community, 17 million, leaned into founding with values, I believe we could do things such as move 1 billion people from extreme poverty to no longer living there. If we simply approach charity from an economic development perspective, build incubators for resident-centered growth, and if we scaled targeted universal basic income pilots. Who here knows what a universal basic income pilot is? Couple hands. Universal basic income comes in the mid-2010s when it looks at the amount of jobs displaced by automation, 40% of people no longer having work, saying, what does a new safety net start to look like for society? And I'll give you a fun fact of what can be done in 5 years. When I was at Stanford, there was a student. He was interning for the Obama administration. During his internship, his brother was shot and murdered, and he left to go try to help his city. Within 2 years, he had become a city council member. Within 4 years, he was the youngest mayor in the United States of a city over 100,000. And in the second year of his administration, he was the first mayor of a major US city to pilot universal income. He is currently a governor, or an advisor to the governor of California, which is the 5th largest economy in the world. 5 simple years. In 5 years, we currently have 30% renewable energy access in the world. Why couldn't we move that to 50%? Solar is now cheaper than coal in most of the world, and microgrid tech is maturing fast. If our founder minds leaned into the late, great Ibrahim Abdul Mateen of Green Dean, alayhi rahmah, who infused our tradition's climate stewardship mandate into his ventures, we could create ethical supply chains that took care of both land and farmers. Could we launch global digital education infrastructure, for example? Free or freemium models that offered world-class tutoring, learning, masterclass, not just for vocational opportunities, but for sacred knowledge as well. Last year's Spark Award Pandai has shown us we have already have tech as a community that can reach 100 million users that benefit parents, schools, and young people all at once. Imagine that at scale. A suite of multilingual public education platforms combining local, global, and spiritual knowledge. We could make 50% of global agricultural regenerative by 2030. We could reshape narratives and re-support the design system so we're no longer looking at refugees from an aid perspective, but a crisis to thriving pathways. Colleague at TED 10 years ago started having conversations in North Africa and in different cities of Europe, saying everyone is saying we do not want refugees here. I want to start a city that welcomes 100,000 of them, actually gives them economic incentives because I know they are doctors, engineers, talents, and I want to show that I will get 5 times the return you're currently putting into safety simply by welcoming and letting people show that they can contribute here. Global circular economies, face science civic convergence labs in every region. Several years ago, the Vatican launched the first religion and AI labs, convening scholars from every tradition, including ours. We've seen Muslim majority nations launch their own incubators, yet now with the launch of Waleed, Ansari Chat, Intisar Rob, who heads Harvard's Islamic Law Department, vision for creating open digital access to Islamic law. You can think of Seed Legal meets Sharia. We're ushering in an era where we are no longer guests in the tech space. We are driving it. All of this becomes possible when we change the landscape. Continuum looks at 1,000 values-driven ventures supported through our ecosystem that invites and enables hundreds of founders per year to receive capital and strategic capacity support at critical moments of breaker growth. It is 2030, my friends. I do not want us talking about a handful of unicorns. I want us talking about an entire herd of them. For without the sacred, the design tendency of mankind is to design for the now and for the ego. And let me remind you that in today's reality, the ego is not merely the nefs. In the geopolitical world, it is the nefs with nuclear weapons. In the domestic world, it is the tyrant of the home. Let us be the medicine to this. Let us make the scared, the sacred, the simple, solvable, the solvable, possible. The question is no longer can we, it is when will we? How will we? At Collective Continuum, this is our how. 1,000 ventures, 5 years, one belief: values move the world. We do know that founders need runway, and today we are happy to announce we're launching the opening of the 2025 Continuum Spark application, which is a $100,000 capital award, safe agreement for pre-seed, seed, and bridge ventures, and then a separate category and track for the nonprofit, with finalists pitching at our favorite people who are sitting directly to my right, Miriam and Chris with GMW and Pneumatics in Qatar in the first week of December. I hope to see you there, not just for awards, but because this is the community we're building and this is what this moment is calling for. Let us close with the prayers. And this is a prayer that I think of for myself and that I offer also to you. Let that which is meant for me reach me. Let that which is harmful be kept from me. Let all that I build outlive me. Let that which is meant for you reach you. Let that which is harmful for you be kept from you. Let all that you build outlive all of us. I look forward to seeing you today, there, and inshallah in a beautiful place at the end of this journey.